From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
What's going on, everybody, to Indianapolis Motor Speedway? It is the Brickyard 200 Happy Hour presented by the National Sim Group. In the broadcast booth with me for this 45-minute to an hour event that we do every Monday night for the National Sim Group Cup Series. First off, Mr. Devin Mosley.
How you doing, guys?
And all the way from the Thunderstorm League of Racing as well, Mr. Noah Wilson.
Hello, AJ. Hello, Devin. Glad to be back with you guys, and let's watch these cars go on the track that they were supposed to in real NASCAR.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm really happy that we're actually doing the oval. I like the road course, don't get me wrong, but there's something about running the actual Brickyard Oval IndyCar track. I know, Devin, you were doing a little bit of research going into the facility, the races, and some of the records. Why don't we go into that first off right now?
Well, Indianapolis Motor Speedway was built back in 1909, originally with an actual field of bricks, hence why it's called the Brickyard. It's a 2.5-mile track length, and the Cup record was set by Kevin Harvick back in 2014, beating out Ryan Newman at a 188.889 mile-per-hour lap time average.
Wow. And just so everybody knows, within the last 2 or 3 months, iRacing has completely rescanned Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And you're looking at Scott Ramler in that 57. We're actually going to jump on board with Landon Williams so you can get a better look of the rescan and how these vehicles are running around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But let's get into the race tomorrow night, because that's what this whole practice session is about, everybody. And let's see. Well, we're doing 200 miles, 80 laps in total. Stage 1 is going to conclude at lap 20, stage 2 at 55, and a quick 25-lap final stage all the way to 80. Now, this racetrack does not have lights, kind of why we're running it at a noon start time. But that means we're going to be in complete sunlight. Noah, what kind of temperatures are we going to see? Because we're looking at about 90 degrees ambient, so we're probably looking at about 100 and something degree Fahrenheit on the track. How are these cars going to really get around this place with it so hot and slick?
Well, I'm not 100% quite sure how these cars react to these corners because, I've had I don't know if you want to call it privilege or unfortunate of driving around the road course here, but, when it's slick, it doesn't really matter what track you're at. It's going to be slippy and slidey, and they're probably going to be a little slidey coming off the corners. I guess this track actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. So like every time they come off turn 1, it might be a little slick. Every time they come off turn 2, it'll be slick, and so on and so forth. So the heat plays in a role not only when it comes to how slick the tires are, or the slick the track is, but the more slick, the more you slide. Guess what, AJ? The more you wear your tires. So it's gonna play an effect in tire wear, and just making sure you don't spin out.
Yeah, we're looking at a track temperature of just shy of 130 degrees Fahrenheit. That is bleeping hot, everybody.
That is more.
I thought it was December.
Not here. But right now, looking at the leaderboard, you got Scott Rambler in first, running on his 8th lap. AJ Cruz on his 6th. Landon Williams in third on lap 9. Joe Hutchings making a return to the National Swim Group Cup Series. Haven't seen him since Daytona. Marco Evans in 5th. Gary Wells getting ready to put down a lap time, still honoring his friend's father, Jim Lamb, on that hood of the HSR Ford Mustang. Noah, you were going to say something real fast.
I'm not 100% sure what I was going to say, AJ. I'm sorry.
Whoopsie.
Oh, yeah. I remember what you said. No, I was just making a comment about how hot it was. I was saying how it's more than bleeping hot out here.
So, why don't we see if we can get a word with Mr. Scott Rambler. I know he's on track, but really doesn't give a darn. Hey, Scott, I know you really don't care during practice when we come talk to you, but I know you wanted to have a couple fun words for us. Get a hold of how the car is racing. As you're just gonna say, yeah, let's get off the track. But how's the car feel?
Well, the car feels great. I'm just worried if I'm allowed to talk to you or not. I got myself chat banned, so. Lauren wasn't happy with what I had to say during the last race, so I heard. Yeah.
Well, I think you're chat
and
banned
rightfully so. I'm not here dragging her. I did the stupid thing. I deserve the punishment.
But here's the thing: you're chat banned on iRacing. You're not chat banned on All-Star 15 TV. So we're talking to you because you are the IndyCar master, and I hope Joe Hutchings is hearing me say that. You are. But how does this 57 Ford Mustang McComey setup shop feel out there?
Feels pretty good right now. Dealing with a little bit of sluggishness. Is that my mic doing that?
No, it's Noah's.
I think that's Noah. Oh no.
It's Noah's, and it's really bad right now.
Oh God.
I'm turning it down so people at home don't hear it. But Scott, go for it.
Okay, sorry. What was the question? Oh God, it's still going.
So, Scott, here's the question. How does that McConey setup shop car feel running around Indianapolis Motor Speedway? It's almost 130 degrees on this track. How's the car feel?
It's a bit sluggish on turn in, and once you get back to the power, it likes to be a little bit loose off. So, it's kind of a weird sense of neutrality. Like it wants to work, but it kind of can't. Because it's a 3,400, 3,500 pound stock car flying around these turns instead of like an 1,800 pound Indy car.
So we were worried about these cars being really loose. Do you feel that at all, or are they super tight getting around this place?
I think we're going to be dealing a lot with loose race cars because everybody's going to burn off the right rear. Typically, when you think of a flat track like this, you'd think everybody would be burning off the right front. But with all the new suspension changes that we can make to these cars, you can almost make them to where they're like an Indy car. Put a whole bunch of weight on the right front to try and get it to bite in, and it lights up the right rear tire really bad tire temp wise.
Oh wow! And do you have to be careful of that throughout a run?
Oh, absolutely you do. If you don't manage that properly, you're going to go to turn into a corner at some point, and your 250-degree tire carcass is going to say nope, turn itself into a caster and just throw you into the outside wall,
and most likely end your day. We're talking with Scott Ramler, the driver of the 57 McConey Setup Shop Ford Mustang for Hutch Sport Racing. But yeah, overall, this, I think by far, I've almost crew chiefed you a race here in an Indy car. Last second, I got switched to Dalton Fredericks, where we had a effing blast. But you did really good that race. Is there something about Indianapolis Motor Speedway in any vehicle? Because you're currently top of the board by .12.
Yeah, Indianapolis was the first racetrack I ever visited. Got to see Jeff Gordon win here when I was 10 years old in 2004. So that was pretty awesome. I actually just passed our seats there up in the nosebleeds of Turn 3. And then earlier this year, right here, on the just outside the exit of 4, Joe, Dalton, Gary, and I, and a couple of our other buddies all went to the Indy 500. So it's been a very big track for me.
Awesome.
Being the first track I've ever seen a NASCAR race at, first track I've ever seen an IndyCar race at.
So it's kind of like a second home for you, it sounds like.
It really is. Before Kentucky Speedway got put on the NASCAR schedule, this was my home track. I didn't care that I lived closer to Richmond or to what's the other one?
Martinsville?
I think it was Martinsville, yeah.
Darlington?
No,
Bristol?
Darlington would have been down too far. Bristol would have been close, but Indianapolis was about an hour and a half from where I grew up.
Oh, okay. So what kind of things are you looking for on these quick runs? Because we've seen you start 2 runs since we've been talking to you, and I appreciate you giving us the time while you're on the racetrack. What are you looking for with these quick runs as we see you getting loose out of 2?
Just stuff like that. Like, I'm trying to run different lines and put the throttle in at different places to see what exactly the car is going to want to do. Is the nose going to plow to the wall? Is the rear end going to step out like it just did? How far down can I get? Can I run over top of the curbs without dying?
Without being Jimmy Johnson.
The answer is yes, we can, but it does get a little bit loose.
Oh, man.
It's all searching for grip and trying to figure out what these cars like to do, because even just among ourselves, as I smacked the wall entering 1.
Yeah, we saw that. It's fine. Everybody at home did as well.
Mike Robinson can give me crap for that later.
Oh, God.
Even down to the driving styles, it's going to be different from each driver. They're going to break in, like, some people will probably be lifting right about here between the 1 and the 2 mark and just letting the car guide itself in, take it real easy on that right front. And other guys might go all the way past the number 1 mark on the wall and just absolutely let the brakes eat it up. And it makes for a really interesting blend of different strategies and driving styles.
Well, I got a question for you, Scott. What is, like, your keys to Indy? Because for some of the people, like in the old car, you trim it out with a giant spoiler on and go over as much speed as possible. Now people focus on handling, get these very weird 90-degree corners as easy as possible. So, like, what's the big key for you?
The big key here is conservation. Whether it's the right front or the right rear, these tires are going to get hot. There's no way around it. And you're going to have to manage that. fuel management usually comes in really big here no matter what series you're running in. At least it did until NASCAR screwed everything up and went to stage cautions. I'm not bitter about that at all, but
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
I'm bitter about it.
for this track, it does not work. Fuel strategy was always the biggest thing at Indy, no matter what series you were racing in. And stage cautions ruined it. That's why the racing has been crap here recently.
I thought it was
At
because they
least-
went to the road course.
Well, the road course has its own problems. That's designed for open wheel cars and not stock cars where you can just barrel into each other in turn one.
Yeah, kind of like Coda.
And there's the Mr. Noah Wilson with the jab at Coda and NASCAR there.
Uses that with NASCAR. They don't make me very happy with them.
All right, Scott, well, we'll let you continue your practice. Appreciate you talking with us up in the All-Star 15 TV broadcast booth. And before we let you go, hit that beautiful sponsor on that car.
I got to thank Jeff McConey at McConey Setup Shops for sponsoring me personally and being an overall great guy to work with. Looking forward to finishing out the season here with him on my car and hopefully bring him home a championship because it's definitely something I want to do for him. But yep.
Well, you win that championship, we'll let you celebrate up here, even though you can't do it over comms.
Okay, that sounds good. That should be a fair trade. I hope Lauren accepts that.
All right, Scott. Well, I'm going to send you back to Hutch Sport Racing, and I know I have another special request, and that's Mr. Joe Hutchings. Tell him we'll get him after the break.
All right, sounds good.
All right. That was Scott Ramler, driver for Hutch Sport Racing. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk to Joe Hutchings, the owner and driver of the 60 of Hutch Sport Racing.
Let's get this circus on down the road. We're taking bets about a tank and gas will go. From Mortar to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
We're back, everybody, and it is time to talk to the owner of Hutch Sport Racing, the driver of the number 60, Mr. Joe Hutchings. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to church.
Yes, our Lord and Savior.
Indianapolis Motor Speed. Roger Penske, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Roger Penske. Don't forget that he's now the owner of the Great Cathedral.
He won 2 championships this year.
Yeah. Let's not go there.
Oh, shit.
Sore subject.
Sore subject.
If Roger Penske owns this place, then I must be his tenant because, yeah.
You're here a lot.
I'm here a lot, and
You don't
I've
even
wanted
live
to
near
play-
it.
Yeah, I don't even live near it anymore. Won here 8 times in an Indy car, and I can't figure out these stock cars.
Well, it seems like you have a bunch of drivers that have. You got Scott Ramler in first, who put down an amazing lap, and I'm thinking that's just race speed. You have Dalton, Landon, Marco, all ahead of you while you're in 7th, and Gary and Mike Campiggio are trying to find some speed.
I'm just out here cruising.
Honestly, that
I
might be the
really
best way to do it.
I've learned that at this place, the mistress will choose her winners, and I'm just gonna ride and see what happens at this point. I'm not trying to push to be the fastest person on track because my teammates are way faster than I am, and this is the first time in a cockpit in 2 weeks. So, yeah.
Well, you're
and
used.
I think.
I'm sorry. Finish
What's
your
that?
thought. No, finish your thought.
This is also the first race that I'm gonna be attempting since Daytona.
So, you running this place, usually for the Indianapolis 500 in the IndyCar series for their special event. We're looking at a track temperature roughly around 130 degrees right now. What does that do to these Goodyear Eagles compared to what they do with the IndyCar tires?
Well, no matter what, this place is like sandpaper. I've actually walked the track surface in the past, and it is not. It's not smooth at all. But it's diamond ground, and there's no bumps in the pavement. But the way they ground the track, it just destroys tires. So, maybe 35 laps ish out of a set of tires. That's if you baby them. I really haven't been able to put down a full fuel run because I've been giggling too much and laughing and trying to figure out how to run this place in a stock car. But my teammates, they've all said the tire wear's pretty decent based on the setup we got. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will definitely see what happens. But, how does the car feel for you, honestly? Because Scott said, and to his credit, he is very good around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, just like yourself. He's also good in Indy cars, but he's also very good in stock cars that we've come to find out. But how does the car feel to you? Because it looks like coming out of 2 and possibly 4, it could either get really tight or really loose, but no real middle ground.
The way you go into turn 3 and into turn 1 is going to determine if that car is going to be tight on you or it's going to be loose. Where you start hitting your braking point, and yes, you will be hitting the brakes around here. I don't care who you are. In a stock car, you're trying to slow down 3,400 pounds. In an Indy car, you're not slowing nothing down. So, figuring out your brake points, and if you get the nose set right, you can actually make that car stupid loose, or you can make it where you're cutting the wheel as hard as you can to the left, and you're just going straight into the wall. It's also very line dependent around this place. There is, there is a preferred way around this place, and you have to hit it every single time. You have, and I don't know how much the audience knows, but Indianapolis is not a perfect rectangle. All four corners are different. They are all banked differently. They all have their own characteristics, and your best bet on getting any decent lap is hitting 2 and hitting 4 the best you can, getting the best runs out of those, because that's just going to give you straightaway speed for the 5/8 mile drag strip that you're going to be running down. Dang near hitting 200 miles an hour going into turn 1 or turn 3.
Well, we're currently watching on our screen Joey Lamb and AJ Cruz. Now, they're pretty much nose to tail. How much of a tow does that lead car give, and can you use that here in these big stock cars?
Well, I haven't done too much following yet, because I'm trying to just get reacclimated into running a stock car at this place. I mean, it's been a long time. I'm thinking over 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's been a while. So that question I would ask somebody else. I know I had a little bit of a draft off that Campigio there for a couple laps, but it really didn't seem to phase the car. I think it was more, I got a really, really good run out of turn 2 on Campigio, and I was able to get it out of, just that one time before I parked the car, because somebody may or may not have taken off that I was coming up here.
We did tell him that you were going to come up here. We don't want any surprises here, like we surprised Rambler that he was getting pulled, and literally just said, oh yeah, I'm going to stay in the car, we're going to run, I'm going to have fun and talk to you guys. But dude, appreciate the conversation, for the insight here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, how the car was running. I know there's a lot of sponsors on these vehicles. 2 of them I own, but why don't you plug some of the other beautiful sponsors?
Well, other than HSR and All-Star 15 TV, and Nerds Doing Nerds Things, Jay again. We got Hush Paints on there. That's my paint studio. You can take a look at my car, and I think Gary is running one of my paint schemes right now, and I think there's another one out there. I'm not 100% sure, but I'd have to look. I do pretty quality work. Not for a very cheap price though, but my quality says a lot. And then I got MSI on the car for this race. Trying to work out some deals with them. So for the car this week. But,
Well, let them know the broadcaster for the league has an SMI G-Force RTX.
MSI, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that would help out, AJ.
I thought I said that. I thought I said MSI.
You said SMI. We're not Speedway Motorsports Incorporated. That's long
Okay,
gone.
to be fair, y'all know I have dyslexia.
I did.
Like Dexia?
No. Joe.
Sorry, AJ.
Okay, old yeller.
Oh, dang. Here he comes with the old yeller stuff.
All right, brother. Well, good luck at church tomorrow and in the rest of practice, my friend.
All right. Thank you, AJ.
Man, I'm really enjoying these practice sessions on the fact of alone that we get to talk to drivers when they're more relaxed, not a lot of competition going through them. They're just feeling out the cars and getting ready for tomorrow. Devin, for everything you've seen on track, what are you looking forward to tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to long green flag runs and being at a big track. We've seen a couple short tracks recently, so you know how it gets very contained and tight, creates carnage for one person's mistake. But I'm sure once we get like one lap around here, we'll be seeing decent car battles, and hopefully we'll have a fuel mileage run to end the race off.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that as well. With everything that has transpired within this season, the racing, and I'm taking last week out of it. Last week was cars that do not belong on Nashville Fairgrounds went to Nashville Fairgrounds. But the racing throughout the season from beginning to 2 weeks ago has gotten better, even though it's been a very slow movement. But I'm really excited for an 80-lap event here tomorrow night, 200 laps at the Brickyard. It's the Brickyard 200 presented by National Sim Group, who are also the title sponsors of this Next Gen Cup Series League. Noah, are you back, my friend?
I don't know. I think you can answer that question for me. Am I back?
You are back. You're a little muffled, but boy, you sound so much better without the popping.
Yeah, I'm probably a little muffled because the headphones I went to, one side died, so I don't know why. They banned the charger for the past 3 days, so I guess they didn't want to charge while they were sitting in there.
We gotta buy you a headset.
Go ahead, be my guest and take donations.
Dude, I will take this because we can hear you. There's no popping, and we can actually have bleeping conversations.
Well, okay, but I tried. It should be fine. It shouldn't be muffled. It's perfectly working. Maybe if I was able to talk the last 10 minutes ago, I've been in here, I probably would have been able to see how well it was working and both headphones were working. But
yeah, well, this is good that everything is happening tonight and not tomorrow.
I agree. Tomorrow these should be charged, and we'll see how they work out tomorrow.
And if they're not, they're going to learn to fly, knowing you.
Exactly. But it was interesting what Joe said about the corners on this racetrack. Never once have I ever heard nor experienced these bankings be any different. I'm sure Devin would know this too, but
Oh, I can tell you guys a whole book worth of knowledge of how these corners are just awful.
All right, we're waiting.
To my knowledge, each of these corners are about 9 degrees all around the track. So either you learn something new every day or fake news is out there. I don't know what it is, but I never considered these corners knew these corners were different in each banking.
Well, they're probably
they are 9 degrees, but there's a slight variance to them. It's not progressively banked, but when they ground them, because there was a diamond grounding done back in the 2000s, that made the track a little bit smooth and easier to let the rain drain off. It kind of messed it up a little bit. So like they're kind of variably between like 8 and 9. And if you go into 1, you will notice that it's very, very tight in 1, but you go into 3, it's very nice, smooth, and loose. And then we come out of 4, you can like really dent it off, but you can't really dent it off at 2. So it's all sorts of a mess and very
I can get behind that. Yeah,
differences.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct with that because I've raced here in these next gen cars in a hosted lobby, and also I ran a friend's 200 mile, I think it was like 80 laps, is like the race tomorrow, event in an Indy car, and both way different, but yeah, Devin, I'm right there with you with one being uber tight, and then 3 feels like a whole different turn, even though they look almost exactly the same.
And then we were talking about draft earlier, and what makes this track, just like Pocono, quite different than the draft is yes, draft is there, and it's more of a fuel miles thing than it is actual tow. You're not getting tow in the sense that you'll gain speed like you will at Daytona or Talladega, but it will just totally cut down on your drag so you can save gas. But you might want to stick out your nose a little bit so you can get that downforce back on your nose into the braking zones of 1 and 3.
You also want air so you don't blow the motor.
Yeah, someone blew the motor in front of Noah over here and caused his Talladega day race to be ended early, so that sucked.
Yeah, that did happen.
I remember that.
Yeah, I bet you do. I remember it great too. And the thing is, it wasn't the car that ruined my race. It was the car that came across the track sideways that ruined my race. Of course, you think you're scot-free, and the next thing you know, oh, you see someone's door. Oh, I see the person in the car. Oh, I see the side of them. That's not okay. When you see the door of a car through your front windshield, that's usually a bad sign.
No kidding. You think you're scot-free, but you're wrecked Wilson instead.
Exactly, or wreck Eckhart, whatever you want to call it.
think we should have too many issues here at Indy. Indy is a big track. It's 2.5 miles of rectangle goodness. That is pure speed, and I'm here for it.
I'm just glad to see these cars on the oval where they belong.
Exactly. I am right there with you, pal. But we're going to take a quick break once again, looking at our sponsors. And when we return, we're going to have the last little bit of practice here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
From Mortar to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
What's up, everybody? All-Star 15 in the house tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the National Sim Group Cup Series. We're doing happy hour practice. We talked to Scott Ramler and Joe Hutchings. In the booth with me, it is Noah Wilson and Devin Mosley. Guys, what are some takeaways from the practice so far that we've already been here for about, 40 minutes so far? Devin, we're going to start with you.
As someone who ran both the Indy Oval and the Indy Road Course this year, is that I prefer the Oval. The Road Course is fine to get to use the shifting because we have 5 gears now, but I very much prefer this Oval, and these guys seem to prefer it as well. As not too many people are spinning. They seem to have the car down pat already. Just a matter of finding the extra speed so it can be the winner at the end of the night.
And Noah, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know what world do you think I don't know what world you think the road course is just fine in any means, because it is just despisable. Like it's too slow. It's just not made for these big heavy hunk of metals, and I'm just really happy to see these cars doing so well. And I'm excited for tomorrow. I think it's really going to prove to NASCAR and the rest of the world of how good these cars can be on the oval, and this is where they belong.
Well, that would mean somebody important from NASCAR would have to watch the stream tomorrow and watch this awesome race, as we see another group of Lamb and Cruz once again working together. Could this be in preparation to see how much gas they can save, Noah?
I'm not sure. Maybe we're gas saving, but maybe to see how the draft works, and maybe like what's the car react while they're in corner? Does the air get tight? What does the dirty air do? That's kind of what my guess would be, because I don't see a point in saving fuel like this. Because even if you're in Daytona or Talladega and you're using the draft 1-2 like this, second place car, or you're just a pusher, it's not really saving much fuel. I think maybe they're testing the draft out and seeing how the car reacts in dirty air, and if you can make moves like this.
Yeah, it's totally about making moves, because as someone who's been buying cars all my life, because I'm not the fastest guy ever, the hardest thing to do in Indy is go into turn 1 or turn 3 behind someone, because you just get super loose exiting, like you see right there.
As they're wrecking.
It does not work.
And look at this, Rambler and Gary Wells also doing it too.
Yeah, Indy is a very hard track to pass it, just like Pocono. Like, those corners aren't really made for passing cars this heavy, which why IndyCar is so much better here. It was built for them anyway. So you got to work on making sure that your car can handle well behind someone, so that you can make a move coming off of 4 or off of 2.
Excellent point. Guys, well, I know before we go tonight, as we have just about another 2 or 3 minutes, Noah, talk about Wednesday.
Okay. Hopefully I sound a little bit better now, because I plugged in the second mic a little bit. But Wednesday is Thunderstorm League of Racing Season 4 finale. It's been a very successful season, to say the least. We've had highs and lows, and it's going to be another historic season, as not only have we had many winners, but we have a chance to crown our first two-time champion, first two-time back-to-back champion at that, Zeke Willis, JD Laird. Many people around the iRacing community probably know that name, JD Laird. He's looking to try to reclaim what he lost last season by finishing second to Zeke, and he's about 37 points behind. He needs a miracle, but hey, miracles are meant to happen. There's a great battle between third place as well, between Zach Murtis. Who else is there? I'm trying to think of this on top of my head. Hey, Devin, can you help me out here? Let me get the points up.
Throw me a lifeline, dude.
So third in points is Steve Icardi and Zach Mertez. Those guys have a pretty close battle.
Yeah, they have it's a close battle between second, third, and fourth, and the only difference between that is the bigger trophy and about $25 more if you're able to win. So Zeke's looking to get $100 and plus a couple extra 10 for his wins. JD's hoping to either solidify $50 if he can't get 100, and there's a battle for $25 and a trophy. So yeah, big one tomorrow, or big one Wednesday night for Thunderstorm League of Racing, as we get ready to close another great season, and excited to see what can be in store for another season 5 after Wednesday.
Well, talk about season 5. When are you guys expected to launch season 5? Because I was hearing talks of it coming in the spring and letting everybody enjoy their winter.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. I'm probably muffled now. I don't know if I was before, but my headphone died again. But yeah, that's our plan. Myself, along with Devin and other drivers like Ryan, Billy, Aaron Caven, and Chase Schaefer, all of us, we're working on running the Daytona 24-hour race again in January. So we like to put our focus on that, as we believe we have a pretty good chance of winning it this year after being very close last season, and then just coming off a big win, the 6 hours of Glen. So we're all focusing on that at the end of January. So we want to spend this month, but we want to give everybody a great holiday weekend. We want everybody to have spend the holidays, with their families and whatever. Give everybody that time off for Christmas and New Year's, and kind of enjoy the winter holidays, with their families, and give them times off. And once springtime comes around, March 1st, we'll get after it again for another season.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You guys are top 3 out of the 3 leagues I broadcast.
Oh, that means a lot.
I won't put you on the spot. I won't ask the question.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because it really depends on how the race goes.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's 2 leagues right now that I can think of that are on your bottom, considering of how the last 2 races went for both of us.
Well, here, the National Sim Group, they took these cup cars to the National Fairgrounds, which never should have gone to. 100%. These cars did not belong there. Kudos to them for wanting to try something, like not shooting them there, but the cars didn't go there. You guys, unfortunately, had a Bristol race where the first 75 laps you had 14 cautions.
Yeah, it took me to chew those guys out for them to get their act together.
I was already in the garage by then.
It just seems like the last couple weeks here on All Star 15 TV, the leagues have gone to tracks that are very tough on the vehicles that they are running.
And also, it's everybody getting those holiday fevers or forgetting their heads or going on vacation mode. And there's a big reason as to why we gave everybody the time off during the holidays.
All right, guys. Devin, any final words?
Well, I just think we're really in for a good race tomorrow. Like everybody, we're seeing passing between these two. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but no one's really getting away. So like, I don't think it's gonna get too strung out tomorrow. I think we should have a good chance for a decent field and a decent race.
And we're also not seeing a lot.
Forgot,
we're not seeing a lot of looseness or wrecking either.
No, not at all. Like anything that like is a wreck is more of people pushing it. You know, they're smarter than that to push it early in a race. So like, I'm pretty sure they won't wreck or anything like that early. But I was going to mention that forgot about the 10th place battle because David Cabrera and I finished 1-2 at the beginning of the season. Now we're 10th and 11th within 6 points of each other. So that's your top 10 battle.
Well, nobody really cares about that low. Wait, who said that?
Hey, man, we care.
Yeah, AJ, just so when you stream, so when you broadcast this Wednesday, make sure you point out that all important top 10 battle. Let's not worry about the guys fighting for the championship or anything. That 10th place, it's all or nothing down there.
All right, guys, everybody at home, right around 9:15, going to be going live right here on All-Star 15 once again for the Extreme Forces Racing League, their penultimate race at Kentucky, the Louisville 100. Come hang out with us. I know you guys will most likely be in the chat. Devin always is, probably doing homework, and I was like, what's AJ doing?
That's usually how
Hey, man, I'm grown.
All right, guys, everybody at home, thank you. Got to thank our sponsors. Going to be on the bottom half of your screen there. All-Star 15 TV has the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. New episodes out every Tuesday. Wrestling over everything. Shrinking Bros, Auto Racing, and Hutch Paints. Thank you to all of them. And we will see you in just about 45 minutes. Peace out, everybody.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join Nerds Doing Nerd Things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.